We have a lot lined up from, we have
headline news.
Exactly. We have healthy living. We have news across Africa. And we even have a guest on the show who you will meet shortly. But at this point, we're moving on to something else, which is
the headline news.
We'll be right back. Well, there's so much happening in the news as usual, so let's get to some of the details. So, a federal high court in Kano has set aside a ruling of the FCT High Court suspending the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Adams Oshomole. Justice Louis Alagoa on Thursday ordered the police and Department of State Service, DSS, to provide security. But the question now is, do Kano High Court have the jurisdiction to set aside the ruling of the FCT High Court? Aisha, what do you think?
I really do not know how to react to this because I'm not an authority in the legal profession.
Exactly.
But then I feel since an Abuja High Court has already suspended the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, how come a Kano High Court is also trying to overturn that
I think,
decision?
honestly, I don't like the fact that people are trying to use politics to, try to destabilize our judicial system. It's a high court in Abuja. What's the difference between a high court in Abuja and a high court in Kano? It's like the same people, like the same, they are at the same level. They are trying to upturn, they've already given a ruling. Shouldn't you just accept it? So if after Kano, maybe eventually we find out, okay, yes, it still comes out with the same verdict, will they go to another court?
My point now is, why does Kano even have to come into this?
Yes,
Abuja
and do
has
they have
spoken.
the jurisdiction?
My point exactly.
And besides,
and then if you look at Oshomole, he has been so calm about the whole thing.
Yeah,
so we're wondering, is there, you talked about politics playing out here. Is there something happening? Because yesterday, according to reports, he went to the presidency, the villa, he saw the president, and then, so we're wondering, What's happening in the APC?
It's like he said, I heard somebody talk about man is God. Yes, it's just that feeling like I'm not going to back down. Even though the court is like the highest level of, democracy and or justice, if I may call it that. And then you're trying to upturn it for what reason? And we've been seeing a lot of that in the news lately, where a lot of people are like, oh yes, okay, this court said no, I'm going to another court and all of that. But at this point,
but that's why they are both high courts.
Exactly. This is definitely a lot, and I know over time we'll get more details on this, but we're still talking about a lot of politics and governorships and everything. So a South-South governors meeting in Delta yesterday, they discussed the security of their region and resolved that there is an urgent need to have a regional security outfit for the South-South region. And they have also directed the Bayelsa Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross Rivers, Edo, and Delta Race Commission. The economists, they think that about the regions, for it to work out, then the details have to be proposed to have a new security outfit. The governors have been briefed on the details of the outfit, and at the next meeting that will be holding in Port Harcourt in May, they will also resolve the 6 commissions of health from the South-South region, and they should meet to discuss strategies to collectively combat Lassa fever as well as the region's precautionary procedures against the coronavirus once the passion is right. Nothing is impossible. That's Udom Emmanuel, the governor of Akwa Ibom. So yes, these details are a little bit hazy, but we have been talking about Amotekun, and even in the north.
I think the fact that Amotekun came up, a lot of regions in Nigeria, they are now waking up. It's a rude awakening. They are now thinking, okay, we have our own peculiar security challenges in our regions. Now South is coming out. We have Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa State, Rivers, and then Delta State. They are coming out under an umbrella, just the same way the Southwest states, the 6 Southwest states came out and formed the Amotekun Security Outfit. So now they feel the need that, okay, even for the longest time in the news, we've heard about kidnapping happening in the South-South region, maybe because the area is an oil-rich area, and then we've heard about banditry and all other forms of crimes happening there. But I think they are now awakened to know that, okay, as much as the Southwest governors have come up with this idea, and then although it faced its own turbulence, but it has been sorted out. So we need to take a step further and do same.
Well, honestly, I like the fact that this is coming up, especially because the governor is also talking about combating Lassa fever and coronavirus through the same outfit. I just want to see how this pans out, and I want to see what their plans and their strategies are. Because fact is, Amotekun has definitely come, and it has come to stay.
And then, like I always say, if any policy at all is going to be provided or stated by government, I feel it has to be people friendly. It has to be in the best interest of people.
Yes. And this is obviously in the best interest of the people.
But then again, the idea might be in the best interest of the people, but it depends on how they're going to implement it.
Yes, okay. Implementation is definitely
key.
Exactly. Now, so we're moving on. 3 cases of coronavirus isolated in Lagos. Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, yesterday disclosed that Lagos now has 3 suspected cases of coronavirus under isolation in Lagos. The commissioner has announced this on his Twitter handle. And last night, he said that the results of the test of the 3 persons are being awaited. Wow, that is a lot. Coronavirus. Whenever I hear coronavirus, it just
makes me cringe because Lagos has been in the news. We keep talking about Lagos coronavirus, the spread in Lagos State. And anyone from Lagos State, Lagos is like a central area.
Exactly.
Abuja is a central area too, but then Lagos is somewhere that people can just move from and go to another place, and people also go into Lagos. Right.
It's like, the whole entertainment industry is in Lagos. Imagine
and now
there's a breakout.
we're talking about 3 confirmed cases, although they are waiting the test results, but it's a lot. But then again, the public doesn't have to be apprehensive or have any form of panic.
Exactly.
Right, because you're still ensuring that you prevent yourself against this virus.
It's very, very important. The fact is, I like the fact that there's been, a lot has been said about coronavirus. So there is nobody, even if you're living under a rock, you would have heard about it. So,
But the one that really particularly catches my attention is the fact that just yesterday, South Africa recorded its first case too. So it's gradually spreading into Africa, and it's worrisome. It's worrisome.
Very, very worrisome. I'm really worried, and I just hope that we can find a way to handle it, because now it's just 3 cases and they said they've been isolated, so obviously they are doing as much as they can. So let's just see how all this goes.
Right.
So moving on, right?
Yeah, I guess we have to go over to the African frontiers, right?
Yeah,
to get more details and stories emanating from the African frontiers. Stay with us.
Hello, here are some news updates across Africa. I am Samuel Akpan. Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara says he will not run in the October's election, ending months of speculation over whether he could stand for a third term, adding that power should be passed to the younger generation. Ouattara, who is 78, had previously hinted that he could run again if his traditional rivals put themselves forward as candidates. About 3,000 people were killed during post-election violence 10 years ago when the former president, Laurent Gbagbo, refused to step down after losing to Ouattara. South Africa has detected its first case of coronavirus on a 38-year-old man who visited Italy and his wife, bringing to 27 the number of coronavirus cases reported in Africa. Health Minister Zweli Kizze said the South African couple, who have 2 children, were part of a group of 10 who returned from Italy on March 1st, adding that the man and the doctor who checked him were both in self-isolation. Kizze said a tracer team had been sent to the eastern province of KwaZulu-Natal to identify people who might have been in contact with the man and the doctor. The United States and Gabon have agreed to head up an international group which fights against piracy in the sea off the west coast of Africa. The US released a statement saying the 2 countries have assumed the co-secretariat of Friends of Gulf of Guinea. The group includes Germany, Canada, the United States, Italy, Japan, the UK, France, Belgium, Brazil, South Korea, Denmark, Spain, Norway, the Netherlands, Portugal, Switzerland, the EU, United Nations Drugs and Crimes Agency, and Interpol. The Gulf of Guinea is the most dangerous sea in the world for shipping, according to One Earth Future Annual State of Maritime Piracy report. Africa's largest carrier, Ethiopian Airlines, have once again refused to cancel flights to China despite rising pressure following the coronavirus outbreak. South African Airways, Royal Air, Air Tanzania, Air Mauritius, Egypt Air, Rwanda Air, and Kenyan Airways have all suspended flights to and from China. But Ethiopian Airlines boss Tewelde Gebremariam said that stopping flights to China was not the solution to fighting the spread of coronavirus, adding that it was unfair to isolate China because of the virus. African airlines have lost $400 million since the outbreak of the coronavirus in China in February, according to the International Air Transport Association. That's the much we have for you on this edition of News Across Africa. Daybreak Africa continues in a moment. I am Samuel Akpan.
So that was news across Africa. And then one major story that caught my attention there is the outbreak of coronavirus. We're talking about coronavirus spreading fast into Africa.
Exactly.
At first, when this whole coronavirus thing came out, the Western world were a bit skeptical. How come it's not getting to Africa? That's why some people, for the longest time, they believe maybe there's a conspiracy theory that, okay, are you saying coronavirus should get into Africa? But now we've had about almost 10 countries in Africa that have recorded their first outbreak of the virus and the disease.
Time and time again, keep finding new countries. Now Ethiopia, South
Africa, Algeria, Nigeria, and it's a whole lot. But and in this South African case, I was reading it in the news yesterday. I think this particular person, he went to Italy, and then I think he had contact with someone who had already been infected. And then he didn't know, he came back to the country with the infection, but now he's under quarantine, just like the regular procedure. So my point now is, if we do not take if we do not handle this case as our priority, I'm afraid I'm afraid a lot of other African countries, we can't tell. People keep traveling every day.
Exactly.
People move around.
And then the fact that this person was in Italy and our first case in Nigeria was an Italian.
Right. So, I saw a picture, I saw a report and a picture about, this virus. It's as if, as it's getting to Africa, it's from Italians. I saw the charts, the virus coming from Italy and spreading to Africa. So if you talk about South Africa now, Italy, talk about Nigeria, Italy, talk about the other countries, Italy.
And the thing is, we're more conscious about China, and it's not even coming from there now, it's Italy.
So that's why people are saying there's a conspiracy theory about this whole thing. But we cannot be too sure. But it's just that it's sad that Italy keeps being in the news when we're talking about the spread of coronavirus to Africa.
Well, as much as we're, being conscious at everything, we should just keep remembering that we have to do our best and make sure that we're conscious about personal hygiene and everything. Because
to ensure that we're washing our hands regularly.
You can carry sanitizing hand sanitizers around. Make sure you can even carry liquid soap, like these small hand wash soaps around.
And then your handkerchief too. If you have to sneeze or cough, just be careful.
Exactly, and protect yourself and even the people around you. You just need to do that because it's very, very important. And at this point, there's no shying away from it. There's coronavirus, and we just need to be careful.
So, we keep talking about Africa. This program, it's centered around Africa. We cannot overemphasize how Africa is, the beauty it upholds, and every other thing related to it. But moving on, it's Amazing Africa, right? So what's this Amazing Africa about, Priscilla?
Well, it's about learning about art and everything. And honestly, I feel like in Africa, there's so much art, craft, and culture. And apparently, there is somewhere that youths can actually go to learn art.
And that's in Tanzania.
Exactly. So let's get to that. We will be right back.
This is Tinga Tinga Art Cooperative Society in Oyster Bay. Located in the heart of Tanzania's biggest city, Dar es Salaam, the hub hosts a small group of professional artisans who came here to paint and sell their art. Ali Abdallah Wasir, however, paints a different picture for us. To him, this is more than an art center.
It was from his generation that art was passed down to us now. It has been a long time since Saidi Tinga Tinga passed away, but due to his legacy, that I got to love this job, and that is why I joined this group, and I feel it is in my blood, and I have a feeling that one day I will become successful. Tinga Tinga died a long time, and some of us were even unfortunate not to see him.
Mzee Tinga Tinga, as many referred to him, was a Tanzanian artist who came to Dar es Salaam in the 1960s, set up shop and began training his next of kin. As years rolled on, however, more and more people got interested and were trained into the artistry, making Oyster Bay a wellspring for most contemporary artisans in Tanzania.
Kuwa naye karibu sana, lakini ni mtu ambaye nimemfahamu kwa sababu mazingira ambayo
I never had a one-on-one with Tinga Tinga, but I have come to know him through his art. Tinga Tinga from the very beginning has been here doing his artwork. He has inspired a lot of artists after he became famous within and without the borders of Tanzania.
Nje na ndani.
It is from Tinga Tinga's skill-sharing spirit that has seen Maliombo train other young painters here in Dar es Salaam.
Nasaidia vijana mabigina.
I teach my classes here, especially beginners who want to join this profession. Let's say they have the talent, but don't know how to use the equipment. So I help boost them for free because they want to have income also.
Stephen Kitumbo, one of Maliombo's students, has finally found a haven of hope in the center after a long search.
Mwaka 2001 nilijiunga na ile CBP, Children Book Illustration.
I joined CBP in the year 2001. I drew for 3 years, then I went back to the streets in the year 2004 and 2005. I joined National Culture Center, which was an art school, but I felt like I was not getting enough. So I came to Maliombo in 2006 because I was inspired with what he was doing.
Stephen's life changed over time, and it is the recognition of his arts within and without the borders of Tanzania that has inspired the 32-year-old even more.
I respect this job because I remember in the year 2006 and 2007, I was in a competition organized by the British Council. My picture won, and from that point, I realized that this art can really change my life.
This center has helped create jobs for the young Tanzanians, proving that one can fully depend on their talents to make a living.
As you know, a lot of young men don't have jobs, so we did not have any other place to go to, and some of us joined this. I'm praying to God to grant mercies upon me as I continue with this career.
Despite their reputable success, the artists are facing some challenges.
Hapa Tanzania hatuna duka maalum la kusema kwamba nitakwenda kununua paintings hapa.
We don't have a shop here in Tanzania where they sell them. So we order from Nairobi, maybe friends from abroad, so that we borrow them paintings when they come. So it has become difficult for us to get these materials. We have resorted to using local paints that we use for tourism paintings. But when it comes to exhibitions, then I have no alternative but to order them from Nairobi, or I request my foreign clients to send them to me, especially tubes.
For Stephen, it is his desire that art will one day be accepted and rated on the same level as other professions.
My future aspiration is that I will one day have students, form a classroom setup that will be strictly for art and art alone. Others might be teaching science and how to be a doctor, but for me, it will be about art.
Art is not what you see, but what you make others see, so they believe. This group of artists hope that this will encourage other aspiring artists to embrace the art in Tanzania and Africa as a whole.
Well, Africa is indeed beautiful, full of culture.
Welcome back from Tanzania. We just went to Tanzania. We're back to Nigeria.
Yeah, so much going on, and I really like what I saw. You know, so much art, so much color. Africa is rich in color.
So much sophistication in their artwork.
Yeah, and the fact that if you have a talent and you like, you know, art and creativity, you can go somewhere and you can help improve on it. That's definitely good.
And the fact that these artworks, they sell a lot. You see, one of them talked about how he had it tough in life, but then he had to delve into art, and then he was drawing, painting, and look at he's doing well.
So it's also a source of livelihood for people. So yes, art is definitely beautiful, and African culture, you know, is just full of so much art and creativity, and it's full of so much color and splendor. So yes, if you have any kind of artistic skill, then you know, you can go to Tinga Tinga, or you can find somewhere in Nigeria. Right. I'm sure you can find somewhere in Nigeria to, you know, explore on your artistic talent.
So still in line with talking about artists, arts, talents in Africa.
We have a guest coming up very soon. He is also an artist, and you'll be finding out more about him after this break.
Your body bang, bang, your body bang, 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 your body bang, your body bang. And I give us when you take a selfie, when you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low, come on girl, when you take a selfie. When you take a photo, You the ginger the boy. Every time you bend it.
Want to shoot a dope music video at 50% discount?
50% discount?
Yeah, 50% discount. Bougie down to Television Nigeria with world-class equipment and a badass expert crew.
Oga, face your camera now. Shh. Continue.
Where was I? Everything extra.
Carolina, you bad.
Hurry up.
Hello. I know that you know. You, my girl, say you know. Your body is big, and I know say you know.
So if you're just joining in, this is Daybreak Africa, reaching you live as always from Television Nigeria.
And we've been having a splendid time talking about African art, African culture, and now we have a guest in the studio. He goes by the name of Iyanu Nelson, and he is an Abuja-based gospel singer. Good to have you on the show, Nelson.
Good morning.
So which is it, Iyanu or Nelson?
Yeah, my name is Ian.
Okay, so we know how to address you properly.
Yeah. You can call me anyone though.
Okay. Very nice to have you. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, because we only know you're a gospel singer. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, some of your likes, dislikes, and everything.
Okay. My name is Iyanu Nelson, and I'm from Edo State, actually. So, but my mom is Yoruba, so that's why the Iyanu is there.
Okay.
So that's it. I studied statistics at the Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, Edo State. So at the point when I finished, I worked with Skybank at first, but I realized, my ministry, music. So 2017, I left the banking industry then to pursue the ministry.
Okay. I think I'm very much interested in, you studied architecture in school.
No, statistics.
Oh, statistics in school, and then you worked in the banking industry. Yeah. And then, how did you know you were called for gospel music? How did you know it?
Yeah, I love that question because I used to sing, generally I sing, you sing hip hop, you sing this, you do that. And I think I recorded a couple of songs then, which I didn't release most of them. But back in 2016, and I've also been in the church choir. So I sing, I still do my outside hip hop, I go to shows and everything. And each time I sing in the church, maybe one or two persons will come like, bro, I'm blessed, your administration, I'm blessed, you met my need, this, that. But to me, it's a normal thing, I've just sing for, But back in 2016, I recorded this song, then it's kind of a wedding party song, and normally when I record a song, I use my pocket money or my anything to just push it. So I did that, and that very one, I didn't share it with people, just my friends. And one of my friends added it, was like, man, this song, Mado, I don't know. Okay. So to cut this long story short, they were working on a record deal for me in Lagos. Then I think the week I was supposed to go for the signing, and I just had a change of mind. Like, okay, you're not meant to do this. Like, this is not for you. Then I actually had like a vision. Like, okay, if you actually go into the, let me use the circular word now, you make the name, you like, but the end might not be cool. I was like, okay, what do you want me to do now? So go into the world, let the people know me. Actually, I don't know how to preach much like that, but I think with my music, I communicate with people better. And since then, we've been in the journey.
Okay, I noticed you said something about using your own pocket money. Money is from your pocket to push your music out there. So I think this will bring you to the question, what are the challenges you're facing? I don't understand why you have to use your own pocket money if you're that good. I don't know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
How has it been so far? Like, how are you managing the challenges?
Okay. When it comes to gospel music, I think you need, if you're not from the very, how do I put it now, a rich background, let me say, like your parents can support you. It's kind of stressful from the start. And before people get to know you, it's when people get to know you better, they say, oh, this guy is cool, and you can actually walk to one or two person and say, okay, please sir, can you assist me with this? And when they listen to your job and or listen to what you have on ground, okay, you can have a little assist from there. Because coming up like a new gospel, let me put it like that, you don't have that name, you're not like the so-called top people that we know. So you're recording a song at first. I think recording these days is very expensive when you want to work with, let me say, the top producers.
Yeah, with the producer.
Yeah, so you have to record a song, starting from the art cover, online production. You pay almost everybody.
Pay for studio session, everything.
Everything.
The beats.
Everything. So it's kind of expensive, and the thing is, you have to do something of good quality. Sometimes, from what I've seen, we downloaded. Let me not mention names though. We downloaded a song to listen to. The art cover was dope, and you know these are things that attract people mostly. Okay, they see the art cover and wow, this is nice. But at first that will attract you, but maybe at the end you just download the work and be like, now wow. But the thing is, you have something to attract you at first. So I think that's one of the plans. You have to, everything have to be of good quality. So, and for you to have something of good quality, you pay for it. Maybe at some extent, maybe when you're well known, and you won't have to be paying for that again. But I think from that start,
so generally, gospel artists, are they mostly independent artists? I don't really hear of any gospel record labels, any record labels that's mostly signed gospel artists. So are all gospel artists independent artists?
I think we have a few record labels that sign gospel artists. Because like I actually mentioned that earlier on. There was someone that was even supposed to sign me here in Abuja before. And when I told the guy, like, oh bro, I'm actually not doing this and that. I want to go into gospel. And he was like, okay, just go find show for you.
Wow.
And that was the end.
Wow.
So some things you hear from people sometimes, if it's not your calling or if it's not your line, you'll be discouraged.
Wow.
But
okay, so there are a few record labels.
Just a few, like a handful.
Yeah, but I don't know here in Abuja. But I think in Lagos we have our Spaghetti Records owned by one of our guys, Mike Abdul. And we have a couple of artists there. We have Monique, we have him, the owner of the record label, and we have, I think we have, Monique and some people
and
like
then
that.
Everything is strictly gospel?
Yes.
Okay, so let us bring it to you now. Are you signed under any record label as it is now?
You're an independent artist, so literally every single money that is used to promote you or do any of your songs, everything comes from you. Okay. How is handling that? How do you get any kind of like? Are you already getting money from singing?
Getting money, I can't call it getting money because I'm also a businessman.
Okay.
I run a poultry as well.
Okay.
So we try to balance it because even if we go for, don't let me call it a show now, go for administration. I have a pianist, I have a drummer, my instrumentalist and my backup. So, and even as it is, I personally, I don't like it. Maybe when they call me for an event, especially when it's a church, I actually don't give a prize. Okay, but people, or should I say our churches, they do, they mismanage that opportunity because you don't give a prize. Okay, you call me for an event and I'll tell you, okay, I don't give a prize, but I have my people coming with me. You know, I think sometimes I might go maybe with 6 or 7, including the backup and myself, maybe 8 or 9. Then we're done and oh, man of God, the Lord bless you. And at the end, give me an envelope. I might not open it, maybe leave it there. It should be maybe 15,000 or 10,000. And most of the instrumentalists and backup, like that's what they do for a living. They play. So most of them are married actually. So sometimes the 15 or 10,000 naira that I get is not even up to what I'll give them. Sometimes I use my own money to settle them.
Okay, so if I get you correctly, you're saying there's no much money. You're not making much money from this industry, this gospel music. But then, what then drives you? Because if for the longest time you're going into any form of business, be it even if it's your talent, you're going into it to make money, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not making that much as you expect, what then is your drive?
Okay, the first thing is fulfillment.
Okay.
Sometimes when I sing, I don't. Yeah, I'm singing for people. I'm singing to preach and every other thing, and at the same time, I'm also enjoying myself. Okay. I think that's even the sweetest part of it. Yeah, you sing and there's this fulfillment that comes on you, like, man. So that aspect of it alone, it's cool. And even for the guys that plays the instrument, if I don't know if you've seen people playing before, there's this joy, like doing what you like. There is this fulfillment in it. So I think it's part of it. And I also run a live band. Okay. Yeah. So for events, wedding anniversary, that if you call me for that, I'm going to charge you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let us not downplay gospel music as though there is no money. People do not make money in the gospel music industry, because I know about Samuel Poso, I know about Midnight Crew.
Yeah.
These are big guys.
Yeah.
They are big fishes. Yeah. So how would you juxtapose the people that are starting from, say, the gospel artists that are just starting up, and then how do you encourage them? Because from what I can get from what you're saying now, it's like if you're just starting and people do not really know you, you don't make money. It's hard. But then these other people, they're making this money. So how can you strike a balance between the newer generation and then the older generation?
I think coming into there is, people get this wrong. We have ministry, and we have industry. So if you have the mind of, okay, you are going into the industry, you're actually coming with that mindset of, okay, I want to go make money. Like, it's not like a business. Yeah, ministry is also a business. I call it my father's business because it's God's business. So in ministry, you don't put all your attention in making the money. Even when the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything here. So the thing is, get the main purpose of the ministry. And once that is fulfilled, so many things will follow. Okay. You can minister somewhere and God touches someone's heart and say, oh, bro, you've blessed me. Give me your account number. Anything, that's where the blessing comes from. Not by you charging give me 1 million naira before I come to your church.
Or not by you hoping that because I'm so talented, so as I'm starting now, I'm going to start getting all the money. So it's more like you should take it as you're ministering first, and then grace finds you.
Yes, because even the Bible says that the gift of a man maketh way for him. Yeah, you have it. God has given you that.
So if I'm getting you right, you're saying it's more about the love of God and it's more about the feeling of blessing other people.
Yes.
So it's not even about the financial gain. Okay. So generally, for you, your perspective is as long as you're touching lives, you're doing good, and like you're enjoying yourself because it's what you love, then you're fine. But we all know that the bigger artists get paid when they come to churches. When they get the chance to come to church, they get paid. So over time, as you grow, you have hope that things will get better, as in the financial returns.
Yes.
Okay, well, for the sake of time, and since you love to sing, you're a gospel artist, we'd love for you to do a freestyle for us. Let us hear your voice. We need you to touch us with your voice.
Exactly. You bless
touching lives.
Bless us and our viewers.
Okay.
We don't want to put you on the spot, but then you have to do something.
Yes, you do. You have to do it, unless you don't want to leave here.
It's a breakfast show.
Okay. Am I permitted to sing in Yoruba?
Whatever you like.
Okay. Hemi ọ̀run, ẹ sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá. Hemi ọ̀run, ẹ wá bá wa pé. We need your presence, Lord, in our lives today. We need your presence, Lord, in our midst today. And as we gather in your presence, let it be unspeakable miracles. And as we gather in your presence, let it be undeniable joy. 'Cause in your presence there is power, anointing that breaks the yokes. Yeah. In your presence there is liberty to set the captives free. We need you, Lord, to take your place. Then Spirit of the Lord is moving everywhere. Just like that. I think there's a part of my song just speaking from here and there.
I like the fact that he's comfortable in his own skin. He's not trying to create an impression like I'm this and that, but he's just comfortable. He's delivering it the way he wants to.
That's amazing.
We deal with the, like my mentor would say, so we deal with the spiritual part of the music, not the technicality in it.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It was amazing having you. I had an amazing time. I'm sure Aisha did.
Of course I did.
And it's actually quite insightful, I'm sure, for us and even anybody that's intending to go into the gospel music industry. It's not about the financial gain. It's about blessing people and the love of God.
Right.
That is what we take home from this conversation. Thank you so much, Yanu, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
It was definitely amazing. At this juncture, we'd like to go on a quick break, and when we come back, there'll be more on Daybreak Africa. Do stay tuned. Plantains, also known as plantanos, are the less sweet, starchier equivalents to the banana. Plantains are an extremely important staple food for people and are very popular all over the world. They are almost always cooked before eating, unlike desert banana. Welcome to another edition of Healthy Living on Daybreak Africa. Today, we shall be discussing on the benefits of eating unripe plantain. When the plantain is hard upon press and green, you know it is unripe. The unripe plantain is loaded with numerous essential minerals and vitamins such as fiber, potassium, iron, magnesium, vitamin B complex. Here are a few health benefits of eating unripe plantain you should know. 1. Prevent diabetes. Unlike overripe plantain, unripe plantain is very low in sugar, and this makes it ideal for diabetes, especially when combined with fiber or protein-rich food such as green vegetables. Healthier bone health. One of the many unripe plantain benefits is the fact that it is rich in calcium, which is an essential mineral for the bone, mineralization, muscles, teeth, and nails formation. A meal with plantain will also prevent osteoporosis, which causes weakening of the bone. Unripe plantain aids weight loss. Carbohydrates are necessarily a bad thing for weight management, like most people believe. The starch found in plantains is a complex carbohydrate, and this makes it essential for weight loss. Digestive health. One of the many unripe plantain health benefits you must know is that it aids your digestive system. Fiber is especially important because promotes bowel regularity. The fiber contained in it also softens your stool and increases stool's overall size and weight. Improve heart health. Unripe plantain contains some amount of serotonin, which plays a role in dilating the arteries and ease blood flow. Also being rich in potassium makes it ideal for preventing hypertension. High in antioxidants. Plantains contain roughly 32% of the recommended amount of vitamin C. This vitamin acts as an antioxidant and helps build up your immune system. As an antioxidant, it protects your body against free radical damage that has been associated with aging, heart disease, and even some types of cancer. Prevents menstrual cramps. Unripe plantain contains potassium that is rich in fibers that prevent conditions that can irritate the body and in the process prevents pain during menstruation. More consumption of plantain during your period will help the body relax and help your hormones function properly. Prevention of ulcer. The powerful antioxidant can also prevent ulcer. It makes up for the lack of food in your system. It contains anti-ulcer properties that secretes mucus into the system, which reduces the risk of developing a gastric ulcer and cures it as well. 10. Provides better vision. Apart from how low the sugar contained in unripe plantain is, it also offers complete protection from the eye problems that might occur. Unripe plantain contains properties that help the eye see more clearly and even for a better complexion. Now that's all we have for you on today's episode of Healthy Living. Welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria, and we're having an amazing time. I hope now you know that plantains are to be eaten. You should definitely eat more plantains. I've always liked plantains, especially on ripe plantains. And now that I know they're good for diabetes, heart health, and even for ulcers, and even when you're about to see your period, all those cramps and all, I heard they're actually good too. So that's beautiful.
I think we should consume more of unripe plantains. Maybe ripe plantains.
Particularly, I like the crunchy ones. I don't know how healthy those will be, but I really like them. And at this point, we're moving on to entertainment. Probably mine and Aisha's favorite segments because we get to let loose
and we chill out, and then we gossip too.
Exactly, and we love to gossip. Everybody that knows us knows that we talk about them.
Wow.
I'm just dropping it like it's hot. Okay, so Nigerian actress Susan Peters took to her Instagram page and made a case for women to be allowed to marry two husbands. She made the advocacy on the probability that sometimes, something bad may happen to one of the husbands. And the screen diva added that she's only asking for a friend of life, if life would be better on earth. If such wishes, she's just thinking aloud. According to her, she's just like, that it'd be nice. Yes, want something, but why would you be thinking that way? I don't know. In case something,
when I saw that, and then I was like, okay, she herself, does she have more than one husband or boyfriend?
She said she's just thinking out loud.
She's entitled to her opinion. Then, what do you really think about it?
I think she's making a joke. Because honestly, I don't think any woman can handle.
But then some women would agree with Susan Peters here, because you'd recall when was it Mike? Pretty Mike came out and said you can't have a beautiful girlfriend and you expect that she's only yours. She needs 11 more of you. So I think Susan Peters is just buttressing that now. Okay. So you need more men to.
Well, on that note, Aisha, how many boyfriends do you have? Because I've seen you doing some very, very shady stuff.
I have to go over to the next story.
Moving on. So Senator Dino Melai, he has said that people need to grow from hating, and he said that the more you try to disparage him, and the more successful he becomes. According to him, that's what he said, and it's actually quite interesting.
And then he said hating on him is more like the vitamin he needs to grow. And then for the longest time, I think I kind of agree with him, because Senator Dino Melai, he remains in the news. People keep talking about him, backlash, insults, but he stares us in our faces. And then you see him successful. He has fleets of cars, exotic cars, and he has houses, he has businesses, and you're wondering, how is this man still as successful as this? To think that he was sacked from the National Assembly.
Do you know there's actually a song about Dino Melai? Do you know? You didn't know this?
I'm not sure.
You've not heard of the song? It's saying Dino.
Oh yeah, I remember. One artist did a song on him.
He was in the video. Like he's just one of a kind. Like,
and then you recall he also went into movies. He featured in one of the films, and then I'm like, okay, so he's not getting enough.
Yeah,
you can't get enough of him.
I like his energy. He just does himself. He doesn't care.
You remember the other time when T-Boss was pregnant? Some rumors had it that
he was the father of the child,
and then he came out to say, no, I didn't do this one.
Exactly.
Even if I do other one, I didn't do this one.
Well, yes, he definitely did not do it. And then we're moving on to the very next story. So, in a horrific video shared by a social media user identified as Jeremy Abba, the man is seen hitting his mother with a cane in public. According to Jeraba, the man's pastor revealed to the man that she is, not letting him progress in life because his mother is destroying every move he makes. Lord have mercy.
This is sad.
And you see a lot of things like this, where people go to prophets and
the other time it was a lady that was beating her mom up because the pastor said the mom is a witch,
the mom is a this, the mom is a that. Somebody that has been taking care of you since you were a child.
Okay, wait, before we go into this in details, right, what do you think about prophecies?
I'm not really a big fan, honestly. I believe more in praying to God. Yes.
Because some pastors would come to you and say they saw this vision, they saw this, they saw that. And now look at what a pastor just told a young guy. Your mom is the one holding your progress, your success. And then he goes home to beat his mom. It's sad.
I don't know. I just feel like people are very gullible, and I think people should just learn to be, they should be
and then people do not even use their logic. Where's your logical reasoning?
Why is it always your mom? Didn't you ask that question? Why is it everybody's mom? How come everybody's mother is a witch?
What about your uncle? What about your aunt? What about your grandma? What about why is it your mom?
Grandmothers and mothers are in the same category. If you just hear, oh, your grandmother is alive, oh, she's old, oh, she's a witch.
What about your dad? So why does it have to be the mother all the time?
Yeah, and you know why it's more sad? Because these women give their all. They give birth to you, raise you, take care of you, love you, and then eventually.
But for the sake of not being one-sided here, some weird stories keep making the rounds. You'd see some stories where they'll tell you maybe a woman came out and said, yes, she's a witch, she did this, she did that, and then she flies at night, and then she's somebody's mother. You can imagine if she's using her children's glory to do all of that. So I think we have to take a stand here.
Well, that is the African mentality,
But what about the woman that came out and confessed to being a witch?
She's a witch. Well, honestly, I don't know. There's these things. The fact is, the society that we live in, we have to just understand that a lot goes on. And fact is, as far as we're Africans, we're not going to forget that there's always the spiritual side to things. But I just feel like we've come this far, and civilization has taken us past most of this. So let your excuse for not doing well in life not be that it's my mother that is doing me.
Right.
Just make sure you work hard and you do your best, and don't just be saying that it's your mom that is
Okay, so Africa is amazing, is this, is that, but this is still the breakfast show on television Nigerian. So we'll be right back with more on this program. Stay with us.
Say that Nigeria has always been in perpetual search for unity and peace is almost an understatement. Less than 6 years into self-rule, having gained political independence from her colonial masters in 1960, the nation was plunged into an avoidable civil war in which more than 2 million people were killed. While it is still a lot difficult to cut through the fog of myth and propaganda that obscured the conflict to explain the cause of the war, more than 50 years after, those things that tend to divide us are reappearing with frightening possibilities. There is therefore no other period in the history of our great country that Nigerians need peace and unity more desperately than now. The phenomenon of unity and peace has been rediscovered the world over as a subject of public debate and of deep philosophical inquiry. Even though peace is generally a relative term anywhere in the world, the imperative for an all-encompassing peace and unity in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. A nation that has been so bruised and violated like Nigeria, where injustice and impunity of all kinds have free reins, dialogue, peace and unity should be the watchwords. In fact, at the end of the Civil War in 1970, what our leaders ought to have done was to call for and host a national dialogue to cut a new deal that would move the nation forward. They didn't do this. Rather, they were smug in their self-assurance. Unfortunately, they saw the entire polity as their war booty and were blissfully unaware of its consequences. The outcome was that desperation among Nigerians became infectious. Even when the military were pressured to hand over political power to their civilian counterparts in 1979, they hurriedly put together a phony constituent assembly and drew up a constitution without the input of the authentic representatives of the Nigerian people, rather than opening up a forum for Nigerian dialogue as a forerunner to peace and unity. The upshot was that the Second Republic was soon to collapse like a pack of cards. In 1993, after the annulment of one of the most placid presidential elections ever conducted in Nigeria by the military under General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the fragile peace and unity of the country became atrophied and the people openly canvassed for a sovereign national conference in which they would openly discuss the basis for the corporate existence of the country. But the military, in their wisdom, repudiated the idea. General Sani Abacha, who took over power from the head of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekan, succeeded in husbanding a national conference in 1994, just as a ploy to buy acceptability from the people to gain legitimacy for his new regime. But despite the stark illogicality of the military praxis, a few courageous politicians led by the late iconoclastic Yoruba leader, Chief Abraham Adesoya, called for and hosted a well-attended and all-politicians dialogue in Lagos in 1997. This helped in galvanizing support for the massive agitation for a return to civil democratic governance, which became a reality on May 29, 1999, when an elected civil administration was inaugurated. Again, the administration of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo from 1999 to 2007, the first civilian government after a protracted period of military dictatorship plagued by rapacity and greed, bungled a great opportunity to host a formidable national political conference in 2005, due largely to the alleged plot for tenure elongation of President Olusegun Obasanjo. The Goodluck Jonathan administration, by successfully husbanding the last national conference in 2014, in which Nigerians of all faculties were adequately represented, succeeded in providing a platform on which the nation would be reinvented. Unfortunately, the then opposition politicians were currently calling the shots, boycotted and repudiated the conference. Indeed, many still continue to associate dialogue with a prudish Victorian morality or with crude attempts by government to legislate peace and unity. Yet, unity and peace remain elusive items on our national agenda. It is against this backdrop that we must think it's imperative to, among other things, create a robust intellectual and integrative interaction to kindle the patriotic spirit of Nigerians towards building a bridge of unity across various divides in the country. Identify and celebrate icons of peace and unity and advance progressive currents on the front burner of our national discourse. There should exist a body of educated and experienced professionals established to facilitate partnership and interaction between the state and non-state actors, which must embark on active peace and unity initiative in our beloved country, Nigeria.
Welcome back. We're seeing so much about Africa and Nigeria, and it just begs the question: how is all this so amazing, and yet we have so many problems we're dealing with?
I think for the longest time, every continent has their own peculiarity. Yeah. So there were Africans, and were these beautiful and amazing. It doesn't mean it comes with a baggage. So this is our own baggage, and we're dealing with it. But we're not talking about the bad sides now. We're not talking about the negatives now. We're talking about how amazing Africa is, because this program is a breakfast show that will help you relax and also bring you up to speed on the beauty of Africa. But up next is Amazing Africa on the beautiful city of Casablanca in Morocco. Stay with us.
The tone is set in Casablanca City, which also means White House. The capital is full of diversity, from architecture to the people, and also traffic. Karam, a professional guide, does not contradict. Known as the first Moroccan city, Casablanca is a glittering gem where various architectural styles, influenced by the different immigrants in the country's history, converge. The narrow streets in Medina conceal houses built inwards. All parts are built in pure Arab Berber style, leading to the Mohammed Berber Palace, one of the central points of the ancient city. Right here in the open streets, a carpenter gets to work, alongside other attractions in the city. From here, this house seems small, but this door, once opened, reveals the grandeur of traditional Moroccan charm. There are levels around the main courtyard, a real riad. The top floor terrace is shelter for the women of the house. The large patio on the ground floor is the meeting point for family meals and discussions. Today, 70% of these old houses have been turned into bed and breakfast hotels. Outside, these streets lead to a market that is open all hours, where people meet throughout the day to exchange the latest news. In the shops, you can find everything. Life in the capital revolves around this place. There have been very few changes over time, but the small cafes popular among women date back to the Spanish invasion.
There are few Moroccan restaurants in Morocco. You can find Italian, French and Asian restaurants, but mostly Moroccan food we eat at home.
After taking tea, these women walk around in search of traditional fabrics and dresses. This wall where the old Medina ends is the border separating the ancient world from the modern city. This door seems an exit from the ancient city and an entrance into the new city. It was built in 1920 in the 20th century, and from there, the colonial city was born. If the Lyoté colonial style is still present, it is now combined with new buildings and new infrastructure, such as the high-speed train station and the tram, because Casablanca's architecture is changing at a dizzying speed. Far from downtown along the Corniche rocks, malls tempt buyers with all the goodies, like the Morocco Mall, which is the largest in North Africa. The giant complex houses all major global brands. 2 million foreign visitors come here each year to benefit from low prices and discounts. A stay at Casa is not complete without a detour into one of its many excellent gourmet restaurants. Like in the Chef Moha, named after the owner, all the delicious Moroccan specialties are served in a fantastic French ambience.
Il y a encore à manger, hein, attention.
This is the former residence of a famous French fashion designer. The speciality is tagine and couscous with foie gras, a true delight.
I present what I love, my recipes, my cuisine. I have to present it to everyone and convince them and hear that they love and enjoy what I cook.
But the most famous monument in Casablanca is of course the Mosque Hassan II. With its minaret of 200 meters facing the sea, the mosque is the third largest in the Muslim world. It was built by Hassan II in 1986 and was completed in 1993. The lover of traditional religious music can find happiness in the small mosques where Sufi melodies are played. Nightlife here is spiced with a generous spread of street food. And the true taste of Morocco can be had in the old city, Medina.
Casablanca is indeed a city I look forward to going to. Have you seen how beautiful that place is? It doesn't even look like Africa.
And I like it when I see things like this.
Right.
You know, it just tickles my tummy when I see so much beauty, so much elegance, and so much splendor. And when I know it is Africa.
Like, I want to be a globetrotter. I want to travel around the world. I think Casablanca. Yesterday we talked about Egypt, right?
Yeah.
And South Africa, Johannesburg,
and even Cape Town.
Cape Town, yeah, and today.
So many places to visit in Africa. I mean, I guess that's why we have a lot of tourists from outside the continent coming in. And I feel like as much as tourists keep coming, it seems like us Africans are the ones that least appreciate ourselves.
But then again, when they come in, most of them do not want to go back. Like, if you see some of these white people in Abuja here, you're wondering, what are they really enjoying in Abuja
It's not
here that they don't want to go back?
It's not even just, you know, the fact that continent is beautiful. It's the people. People are so loving. And the fact is, we treat people very well. You know, especially people from outside the country. We just feel like, oh, this one is a foreigner. Let's treat him nicely. And it's everywhere like that. Sometimes when they come and they eat the food and they see the culture, it's so much and it's so beautiful.
On that note, we also have to create the awareness that as much as we have the coronavirus outbreak in the country and other parts of Africa, as African, as unique as we are, we do not have to start discriminating against people just because, okay, maybe you say Chinese man now, you feel because coronavirus outbreak started in China, you would now want to maybe talk badly at him. No, it's not nice at all. We are beautiful people, we're very respectful, and we should do accordingly.
And on that note, we'd like to end the program. We've already shown you how beautiful Africa is, and we've shown you the fact that Africa is amazing. There's art, there's culture. You don't have any excuse not to be happy if you're in Africa.
And it's TGIF, thank God it's Friday. do not let it be Freaky Friday.
Exactly.
You have to be careful. You have to stay safe out there. But then you still have to catch your fun.
I don't know about not making it Freaky Friday. I'm all geared up for Freaky Friday. Like, I'm dressed for Freaky Friday.
No, there are levels to Freaky Friday.
So not Freaky,
not Freaky
just
Freaky Friday, but just Freaky Friday.
Okay, so let's go out and have fun this weekend. Make sure you have a good time, and we'll join you on another episode of Daybreak Africa on Monday, bright and early, like Aisha would always
Just
say.
before we go, we'd love for you to follow us across all of our social media platforms. On Twitter, it's TV Nigerian. On Facebook, it's Television Nigerian. And on YouTube, it's Television Nigerian. And on our website, it's www.tvn.news. So,
and it's been an amazing show. I'm Priscilla Ajishala.
And I'm Aisha Salihu. Have a blessed weekend ahead.